Hello, friends, and welcome back to Malicious Compliance Stories. Let's kick off this video with a story about a grocery store cashier who flipped the script on a power-hungry manager and walked away with the ultimate win. But before we begin, best way to support our channel is to leave comments, like, and subscribe with the turned-on bell so you don't miss the new video every single day. Here we go. Cashier stands up to power-tripping manager, gets the last laugh. I worked at a grocery store called Winn-Dixie. Yes, the very same one from the book. It's a well-known grocery store from the South. I was about 19 and I was a cashier. Usually the two types of people working the registers were extremely young or old. I was obviously young, and because of that, management had their eyes on me from the beginning. In the eyes of corporate America, young workers tend to be irresponsible and are more seasonal workers than permanent ones. I, however, am the exception. Don't know if this happened to anyone else, but as a cashier, I was assessed for my scan time, how fast I can scan items, my percentage of error, having to remove items off of orders, my wait time, how long it takes to ring a customer up and cash them out, and customer satisfaction. Customers got to leave comments about the work staff either online or in store. I don't know if they still do those now, but these were my stats. I was the fastest, accurate, friendliest cashier in the store. We tend to have a bunch of regulars considering we were right in the middle of a retirement community and we were down the road from the local college. Now, anyone who's worked as a cashier, you know you can't leave your register, and if no one's in your line, then you were to clean up the end caps, straighten up the candy, make everything look good. Most of us enjoyed talking with the customers, and after so much talking, you get thirsty, so we'd keep drinks under our register. Spill-proof containers hidden from customers' eyes. Cue the malicious compliance. So our manager, we'll call her Kelly, was away on medical leave, so in her place we had one of the managers in training from the corporate office come and run the store in her absence. My stats are the best, and I'm shining at my register. She introduced herself, and we'll call her Corporate B. Within a week of being there, she changes everything. First, she messed up the schedule. While I was part-time because of college, she switched me to full-time schedule with overtime. I was working 12-hour shifts. I was on break, so at first it was okay. I did advise her that I go to a community college and have classes starting in a month or so. CB, well, can't you just take them online? Me, I can't some of my classes, but not all. My sciences, I have to be on site for labs, and when I take my tests, I have to be in the classroom. She scoffed at whatever, and I thought that was it. Nope, she cut my hours to like 2 days a week, 6-hour shifts. I was pissed. I didn't say anything because I knew once Kelly got back, everything would go back to normal. One day I come into work straight off the city bus. I still have my normal clothes on with my uniform and my backpack. I run to the back and change in the bathrooms. I lock my stuff in my locker and take a swig of water from the water fountain before making my way to the front. I buy a bottle of water and tape my receipt around the bottle so they know I wasn't stealing, clock in, get my till, and make my way towards my register. Once I cut my light on, the line forms and I get all of my customers checked out in a decent amount of time. Once it's clear, I take my bottle and drink some water. CB walks up. CB, what are you doing? Me, drinking water. CB, you're not supposed to be drinking at your register. Me, figuring maybe it was rude if the customer saw me drinking and not wanting to disobey a manager, I nod and say, yes, ma'am, and put my bottle away. The next day it's busy. I knock out most of the rush and my line's empty for a moment. I take my bottle and run to the front door. I chill where the carts are and take a swig of my water. I run back to my register and put the water back under it. CB sees me running back and walks over. CB, what was that? Me, I was thirsty, just drinking some water. CB, I said you cannot drink at your register. Me, I didn't. I ran to the door and drank in the cart corral. CB, you can't drink there either. Me, okay. The next day I'm thirsty. I take my drink and drink it near my friend's register. No customers at all. No one saw me. Or so I thought. CB over the intercom. Commotion, please pick up the red line. Me picks up the phone. Hello? CB, what were you doing? Me, taking a drink. CB, I told you. Me, fed up at this point. You told me I can't drink at my register. I can't drink in the cart corral. CB says nothing and hangs up. 15 minutes, she's at the front with a write-up in hand. Apparently I was being insubordinate. I signed it even though I didn't agree. Me. So if I'm thirsty, where can I get a drink? CB. The water fountain in the back near the restrooms. Me. Okay. I had the next 2 days off. I get a call from Kelly. She tells me that CB called her and told her I received a write-up and how I'm rude and disrespectful. I tell Kelly what happened, and she's furious. Mind you, I was already looking for another job because I wanted something closer to home. I'd found one and decided since CB was there ruining my life, I wasn't going to put in my 2 weeks. The very next workday was my last day. She scheduled me for a 12-hour shift on the most busy day of the month, the 1st. I come in ready. I start ringing customers up. Luckily, they're my regulars. I ask them to excuse me for a moment and walk to the back, taking my time, take a sip of water from the fountain, and then make my way back. 20 minutes later, I do it again. 50 minutes later, I do it again. At this point, I left my register with customers there at least 2 times an hour. This caused my line to back up and forced CB to come and hop on the register. When I came back, she starts, "CB, what are you doing?" Me, I was thirsty and was told that I need to go to the back and drink from the fountain. CB is livid but does nothing because she was the one who gave those directions. Once I clock out, I hand her my letter of resignation and my name tag. I wave and walk away. A week or so later, corporate calls me and asks why I resigned. I tell them everything. I found out that Kelly snitched when she read my letter of resignation. She was so insistent on corporate paying the store a visit, and that they did. They asked my coworkers what was going on, and they told them. I still shopped at that store from time to time, and I found out that the cashiers were allowed to have drinks at the register again. I also saw CB there. She followed me around and gave me the mean mug while I shopped. Apparently she was demoted to cashier. It felt so good to have her ring up my items and bag them for me. CB, have a great day. Me, with a crap-eating grin, I will. One of the most petty things a manager will try to do is control bathroom breaks and drinks. It'll almost always backfire on them. And our next story. Vegan Karen demands arrest over meat mix-up. I'm a new law enforcement officer, fresh out of training and just a month into my first solo patrol. I'd already had my fair share of quirky calls, but nothing could have prepared me for this. It was the end of a hectic 12-hour shift, and I was counting down the minutes to clock out when dispatch sent me a call. A woman at a local fast food Mexican restaurant was demanding police assistance. Since I was the closest unit, I reluctantly took it. When I arrived, I met the cast of this unfolding drama. EM, entitled Bomb, her IK, innocent kid, who looked like she wanted to disappear into her chair, and the M, manager, who was standing behind the counter looking beyond done with life. EM wasted no time launching into her demands as I walked in. Me. "Hello, ma'am, I'm Officer OP. You called for assistance?" EM, interrupting me. "Finally, I want you to arrest the manager of this place." Me. "Okay, what exactly happened?" EM. "He tried to poison my daughter, and now he's refusing to refund my money. I want him arrested immediately." That was a lot to unpack. I glanced at IK, who looked mortified beyond belief, her face buried in her hands. I turned back to EM, trying to clarify. Me. "Poison? Can you explain what you mean by that?" EM. "We're vegans. He put meat in her food, and now she's been poisoned. I want my money back, and I want him in handcuffs." Right, this was going to be fun. I excused myself and approached M, who looked like he'd rather be anywhere else. Me. "Can you tell me what happened here?" M. "She ordered food, and yes, her daughter got the wrong meal. It was a mistake on our part, but when we tried to fix it, she lost it, started cussing out my staff, throwing food, and calling me a racial slur. Then she called you." I glanced behind him, and sure enough, there was food splattered across the wall. Fantastic. From what I'd heard so far, this was clearly a civil issue. I had no authority to make the restaurant refund her money or press charges, so I grabbed the corporate number for the restaurant and walked back to EM, bracing myself. Me. "Ma'am, I've spoken to the manager. This is a civil matter, so I don't have the authority to make the restaurant refund your money. Here's the corporate number. You can file a complaint there." EM screaming, "What? Did your high school diploma brain not hear me? He tried to poison my daughter. Arrest him." She was now inches from my face, her voice echoing through the restaurant. IK buried her face further into her arms, visibly cringing. I took a deep breath and tried again. Me. Ma'am, this was a mistake, not an intentional act. There's no criminal intent here. The manager offered to fix it, but you refused. I want to speak to your supervisor. Fine by me. I called for my supervisor, but they were tied up with shift change, so it'd be a few minutes. Meanwhile, M approached me. M, I'd like her trespassed. I can't deal with this anymore. Trespassing someone was within my authority, so I nodded and relayed this to EM when my supervisor finally arrived. After explaining the situation, my supervisor went to talk to EM. He returned, barely holding back laughter. Supervisor, she claims you were unprofessional, called her a vegan bee, and cussed her out. She also wants your badge. Fortunately, I was wearing a body cam, so we both knew her claims were baseless. With my supervisor's approval, I went to deliver the news. Me. Ma'am, as this is private property, the manager has requested you be trespassed. You need to leave immediately. If you return, you'll be subject to arrest. EM shrieking, I'm a tax-paying citizen. That racial slur manager is probably an illegal. You should be arresting him. I'll have your badge for this. At this point, IK, who'd been silent the whole time, stood up and delivered the moment that made this entire ordeal worthwhile. IK, Mom, cut it out. You eat meat and we all know it. Just stop. You're making this so much worse. The entire restaurant went silent. My jaw dropped. M stifled a laugh. EM turned a shade of red I didn't know was possible, grabbed IK by the arm, and stormed out of the restaurant without another word. The manager thanked us profusely, and I finally got to go home, surviving my first real encounter with a Karen. Bet a steak dinner that she thought if she got loud, she'd get free food. Too many managers, etc., give in to get rid of them, and this creates a cycle of entitlement. I'd also bet corporate's going to hear about this. I can only hope the manager fills them in before they give in to her. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.